We're doing the renourishment coming up, correct, in 2020, okay? It was said that we're not being proactive in it, but we are doing a beach nourishment to get it engineer status so that we can get federal funding, et cetera. If we're not being proactive, but we're doing that, what more would you guys do?
What more would we do is a tough question, Dan. Beach renourishment and beach engineering has been promised for a very long time, and it just doesn't seem to happen. So the first thing that we would do is actually make sure it gets done. It's really been frustrating to listen to all this pie in the sky about what's going to happen and what's going to happen. I want to see a pipe run across the land estates, pulling sand out of the Banks Channel, putting it out on the beach, moving the high tide line 140 feet out from where it is now, which is what they tell me this is going to do. So yeah, would I do anything different? Are we being proactive? I don't know how you call a 25-year delay proactive. I think it's as usual reactive. When the water laps up onto the stoop of the mayor, then we react and we get beach nourishment done. It's time.
I know from my personal observation, attending council meetings and going to the workshops and things when it's possible for me to go, that the main thing that's always said at the meetings is, we're waiting on this money and we're not going to spend it or do anything because we want to make sure we get paid back. Well, if there's a hurricane and a tree falls on your house, you're going to go out there with a chainsaw, you're going to go out there and do what you need to do to protect and to save your property versus just sitting around waiting for more damage to happen. So we do need to step forward. We do need to get more aggressive and assertive and get these projects going. And we can't always bet on the come that the feds or someone else is going to be paying for it. And yes, we do need to have creative ways to fund this, and like I say, partially through the occupancy tax and various other things that we can, and again, working with the other two cities on the island to work together to get this done. Because we are a barrier island, we do protect the mainland, and I am across the street from the beach right now, and I don't want to be oceanfront.
I believe that we do have access and have power to have state regulations addressed by our legislatures and also with the help of the governor. We just need to let them know and be the loudest voice in the state to get the attention, and I think we can do that. Most recently, we've had the Rate Bureau, with no input from our administration or our current council, raise our rates up to 9%. For our insurance. We had no representation at the Rate Bureau to contest that. And so some of us got a 9% tax rate increase for next year. If I get elected, we're going to have more contact and coordination with the state regulators, and we're going to have a voice not only here on the island, but also in Raleigh, and I hope to provide that voice for you.
Here's my conundrum. So what happens if we don't get any federal money next year? What happens if it doesn't come to fruition next year? Because if you talk to Jack Solak, Jack will tell you, I've been trying to wait on this thing for 18 years. Okay, so what if something does hold that process up? One of the things that I think is my personality is, if you throw me a bone, I'm going to go after the bone. And at least guide this council to be super proactive, not reactive. Right now, we are in reactive stage. We are reacting to our situation. We've got to get ourselves in a proactive stage. Okay? Yeah. Do we borrow the money and pay it back and wait? Do we figure those things out? I know there's a lot of irons in the fire. And Dan, I'll be honest with you, you may know as much as me about that process if you've studied it. And I'm not professing to be a professor of beach nourishment. Teresa Batts is the beach nourishment representative for our council. So therefore, some of us councilmen don't have to diverse into that as much because, like for example, I represent the chamber, so I go to chamber meetings. Most of the councilmen have no idea what goes on at a chamber meeting because they're expecting me to handle that process. So do I believe it's going to happen? I want to believe it's going to happen. If it doesn't happen, we're going to have to figure something out quickly. Do I know what it is? I don't know. Okay, and I'm not going to sit here and profess I do know, but I'm going to throw me the bone and I'm going to go after it and figure it out as much as I can. Okay.